My wife demanded, "If you don't give me the PIN for your offshore account, I'm filing for divorce." I took the divorce papers and signed them immediately. I replied, "You just filed for divorce, not extortion." She got nothing but half of our debt. I, Cashin, 40, a mergers and acquisitions consultant, had been with Liney, 38, a jewelry gallery manager, for 10 years. We had been married for 5. We lived in San Francisco, California. I appreciated the city for its unique concentration of wealth and finance, but Liney only saw it as a place to showcase her expensive lifestyle. Our combined income was very high, but Liney's excessive spending on art, clothes, and social status made our finances entirely dependent on my income. I made about $300,000 and Liney made about $100,000. We owned a luxury condo with a view in the Nob Hill area. Our lifestyle was defined by constant, high-stakes consumption. We often ate at Michelin-starred restaurants like Lazy Bear. Our friends were mostly Liney's wealthy, status-obsessed clients and her large, demanding social circle. They constantly reinforced Liney's belief that social image was the ultimate currency. I felt like the silent financial engine who was constantly criticized for my ambition. I wanted to move into high-level, international corporate restructuring and strategic finance. Liney wanted me to remain a stable, high-income local consultant to fund her costly local life. My career was excellent, but locally constrained. I was successful at complex domestic M&A deals, but my true passion was in structuring large-scale, international financial turnarounds. I wanted to apply my skills to global firms. I was quietly interviewing for executive roles that offered immense strategic scope and global reach. Liney was openly dismissive of my professional drive. She called international finance too much travel and risk and implied my interest in global markets was a selfish obsession. She valued my income but mocked my global ambition. The opportunity that presented itself was a true professional zenith. It was with a massive, highly secretive international private equity firm. The role was Chief Restructuring Officer, Global Assets. The location was Monaco. This was a massive global step, placing me at the intellectual and strategic core of international finance. The compensation package was exceptional. The base salary was $700,000 annually, entirely tax-exempt due to the jurisdiction and structure. They included an immediate, substantial signing and relocation bonus of $200,000. The benefits included fully paid, luxury executive housing, private travel allowances, and a guaranteed annual profit share bonus of 50% of my salary. This was the opportunity that secured immense purpose, undeniable financial power, and global prestige. I decided to present the offer to Liney over a quiet weekend. I was immensely proud of the achievement. I thought the Chief Restructuring Officer title and the tax-exempt $700,000 salary would finally earn her respect. "Liney, this is it." I got the offer. It's the Chief Restructuring Officer role. It's a complete pivot to global finance, I said, showing her the formal offer letter. She was applying makeup for an event. She glanced at the letter dismissively. "Another title, Cashin. Is this one less about boring spreadsheets and more about buying me a new Bentley and a jet card?" She asked, not meeting my eyes. "It's Chief Restructuring Officer, Global Assets, with a major international private equity firm. The location is Monaco." She scanned the tax-exempt salary figure. Her eyes widened slightly, but the excitement was immediately overshadowed by cold disapproval. $700,000 tax-exempt. That's incredible. But Monaco, that's thousands of miles away. My entire social and client base is here. My status is tied to this city. I would lose everything. My entire image is built here. You could consult on international art sales. This is global finance at the highest level. We could be financially free and making massive, controlled wealth. This is about security and legacy. Security that excludes me. My life is here. My visibility is here. You expect me to throw away my successful career and my fabulous life for a title on the other side of the world? You're so self-righteous, Cashin. You always prioritize your noble mission over my social status. Just say no, I'm not moving." She tossed the packet back. Her contempt was clear. She confirmed her priority. Her local, image-driven lifestyle was more important than my executive ambition or our shared, long-term financial security. I was merely a useful resource to fund her current image. The final insult came a few days later. Lainey had been pushing for the PIN to a small offshore account I had set up before our marriage. She had found the account number on an old document. She walked into my study holding papers. She spoke with an extreme, entitled clarity. "If you don't give me the PIN for your offshore account, I'm filing for divorce." I took the papers from her hand. They were the blank divorce forms she had downloaded. I signed them immediately. I looked at her calmly. I replied, "You just filed for divorce, not extortion." She stood there, momentarily stunned. She had tried to leverage my ambition and my carefully protected separate wealth against me. She had assumed I was too afraid of losing her to protect my privacy. She got nothing but half of our debt. Update 1. I did not reconsider the job offer. I accepted it immediately, signing the final paperwork. Her attempt at financial coercion and her clear intent to divorce me over money had made my choice simple. I secured the massive relocation package. My commitment was solely to my professional destiny and my protected future. My planning began that very afternoon, executed with absolute, rational secrecy. The following weeks were marked by extreme tension, but controlled silence. Lainey was furious that I had signed the papers, but she was entirely unaware that I had a fully formed plan to leave the country. She thought she could slow-walk the divorce and try to claim assets later. I tried once more to discuss the career move, acting as if the divorce was a temporary lapse. "The firm is providing a luxury apartment in Monaco. I need to get the documents ready for our departure," I suggested, watching her reaction. "We are not departing, Cashin. You signed those papers and you made a huge mistake. We will negotiate this later. Stop using your pathetic overseas job as an excuse. I need a husband who supports my life here," she replied quickly, her voice sharp. "This is Chief Restructuring Officer. It's global finance. It's a $700,000 tax-exempt salary. It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance. It's a nerdy, low-glamour job in a distant, tiny country. My friends agree. Stop calling it a chance. Call it what it is, your selfish escape. We are not moving. End of discussion." She repeated the dismissive lines often. They were designed to minimize my success and reinforce her belief in her control over me. Her friends quickly reinforced the narrative. At a social event, her friend Talia approached me condescendingly. "So, Cashin, still talking about trading your comfortable life for some risky, offshore finance job? Vela is right, man. You can't ditch your amazing life here for a paperwork title," Talia asked. "It's Chief Restructuring Officer, Talia. It controls billions in global assets. It's a path to immense generational wealth," I explained calmly. "Generational wealth? You already have the perfect life. Lainey has a great scene here. Everyone thinks you should stay. You're being selfish. You need to prioritize the relationship over your noble dreams." "I prioritize a life of immense, controlled wealth and purpose. That is better than endless social consumption and debt," I replied, moving away. Their collective judgment only reinforced my rational choice. I was planning an escape from a life built on consumption. My preparations became meticulous and silent. First, I secured the finances. I utilized a specialized international wealth manager. I routed my entire paycheck, including the $200,000 signing bonus, into my secure, international accounts. I left only a small, fixed amount flowing into our joint account for the minimal joint bills. Lainey never checked the account balance. She only checked her personal credit card limit. I created a precise spreadsheet detailing all shared assets and liabilities. The only significant asset was the equity in the Nob Hill condo. The liabilities were significant, mostly from her spending. Next, the logistics were handled. I spent my evenings secretly researching and virtually touring apartments in Monaco. I found a superb, high-rise luxury unit in the Monte Carlo area. It was close to my future office and had stunning harbor views. The firm secured a long-term lease entirely in my name. The relocation team handled the logistics. I used my vacation days for a quick, final trip to Monaco. I finalized the lease and handled the necessary paperwork. Lainey thought I was on a mandatory compliance conference in Dallas. I started sorting through my belongings. My professional books, my specialized financial records, and all my personal documents were boxed up. I used a highly discreet, secure international shipping service paid for by the firm. I told Lainey I was sending old work documents to an associate overseas for scanning. She was too busy planning a massive charity auction. I began liquidating small personal investments. I converted the funds into euros and transferred them to my new private accounts. I was creating a robust, personal financial fortress. I had my documents notarized. I secured a new international driver's license. Every small detail was a deliberate step toward total independent freedom. My focus at work was absolute. I finished my projects flawlessly. I received a stellar recommendation from my current firm. I timed my departure perfectly. It was scheduled for the same weekend as Lainey's charity auction. The night before my flight, I finished packing my last bag. I deactivated her key card to our condo. I left her a final, brief letter with the signed divorce papers on the counter. The letter confirmed the divorce was final and instructed her to contact her lawyer to settle the significant joint liabilities. She would arrive home late to a dark, locked condo and realize her comfortable, financially dependent life had just ended. She'd lost more than just me. She'd lost her financial security and gained half the debt. Update 2. Lainey arrived home late that night, expecting her comfortable, expensive life to continue. The key card did not work. The house was dark. She found the signed divorce papers and my final letter taped to the door. I was already at the airport, waiting for my flight to Monaco. The letter was factual. It confirmed the termination of the marriage and the finality of the divorce. It cited her attempted financial extortion and her sustained contempt as the reason. It confirmed my new role as Chief Restructuring Officer in Monaco. It provided my lawyer's contact information, outlining the immediate necessity to sell the condo to cover the significant joint debt. When she finally contacted my lawyer, the reality set in. I was gone. My executive life had begun without her. My lawyer had already filed the necessary paperwork with the court, making my signature legally binding. Her immediate reaction was a furious explosion of anger. She sent me aggressive, long emails and texts via an old address. "You coward, you are ruining our life over an account PIN. I will expose you. You are a cold, emotionless psychopath," she wrote. "You're pathetic. You threw away 5 years of marriage over a stupid argument. Come back and face the consequences, you pathetic analyst," another demanded. I allowed my lawyer to reply once, confirming the finality of the decision, citing her attempted extortion and contempt as the definitive breach of trust. The lawyer added that all further communication must go through his office. Then came desperate bargaining. She shifted to long, apologetic texts. She promised to stop spending money and find a stable job. She offered to fly to Monaco immediately and be the supportive wife. She swore she would never ask about the offshore account again. I ignored them all. This was followed by a period of performative depression. I heard through mutual friends that she was posting cryptic, heartbroken messages online. She claimed I was mentally unstable and had abandoned her for a strange, temporary job. She sought massive public sympathy. Finally, the spike of pure anger returned. She hired a top divorce lawyer. She threatened asset claims for my entire signing bonus and half my future salary. My lawyer, armed with my pre-separation financial documentation, quickly established that all my new assets, the tax-exempt salary, the controlled funding, the housing allowance, were acquired post-separation and were legally separate. Her legal threats faded quickly. The only thing she was legally required to share was the debt and the remaining minimal equity in the condo. My moving day was quiet. I was already working in Monaco. I had hired a logistics company to pack and ship her remaining personal belongings to an address she designated. Lainey was reportedly staying with her friend Talia. I felt a profound sense of closure and relief. My new life in Monaco was a constant, exhilarating professional challenge. The city was a blend of high-end finance and immense global capital. My job as Chief Restructuring Officer was high stakes. I was leading major strategic initiatives that restructured multi-billion-dollar firms. I felt respected and validated for my intellect and purpose. I started thriving immediately. I joined an executive sailing club and explored the beautiful Mediterranean coast. I made professional friends who respected my drive and my financial acumen. My work success was immense. Within 8 months, my strategic restructuring led to a major, high-profile corporate turnaround. The firm was ecstatic. I received the massive, unscheduled $350,000 profit share bonus. It was for exceptional performance, entirely tax-exempt. I used the funds, combined with my savings, to purchase an all-cash, superb, high-rise condominium overlooking the harbor in the La Rouse area. It was a secure, tangible asset. The lies Lainey had been spreading back home began to crumble. She was telling everyone that I took a low-paying, insignificant administrative job with a shady company. She claimed I was just a remote worker struggling with the language. "Cashin, what is going on? Lainey is saying you're working for a tiny, failing firm and struggling." "She says you're miserable," a distant relative texted. "She told us you're just a project coordinator in a cramped office," a mutual friend added. I ignored most of them. I was polite only to her parents, who seemed genuinely confused. "Cashin, is it true you're struggling? Can we help you come home?" Lainey's father asked on the phone. "I'm doing very well, sir. I'm the chief restructuring officer of a major firm. My salary is tax-exempt and massive. I am thriving and building a legacy." I decided to stop the lies permanently. I made a formal post on LinkedIn. The post was professional. I celebrated the success of my global asset restructuring initiative. I included a picture of myself standing with the firm's partners at a financial conference in Geneva. My Chief Restructuring Officer Global Assets title was front and center. The sheer scale of my success, my salary, and the firm's prestige were now public. The reaction was explosive. My old professional network was incredibly impressed. Her social network was stunned. The flood of emails and texts began immediately. "Chief Restructuring Officer, Cashin, Lainey told us you were unemployed. I'm so sorry we believed her," an old colleague wrote. "I apologize, Cashin. We all believed her. She painted you as a sensitive, desperate failure. You look amazing," Talia texted sheepishly. Her family also reached out. They acknowledged that Lainey's version of events was false. They validated my decision. 4 months after the LinkedIn post, she showed up in person. I was leaving my apartment building. A luxury cab pulled up to the curb. Lainey stepped out. She looked glamorous, but the confidence was gone. "Cashin, I flew all this way. I had to see you." "Chief Restructuring Officer, I had no idea. The apartment is stunning," she said, rushing toward me. "You didn't know because you didn't want to know. You actively chose to believe I was a failure to justify your contempt and your extortion attempt," I replied. I kept a clear physical distance. "I've changed, Cashin. I saw my mistake. I'm ready to move in. I can find work here. I'll support you completely. I want this life with you." "You want this life. You don't want me. Do you remember what you demanded? The PIN to my separate account. You called my job a selfish escape. You posted about your heartbroken victimhood all over social media. That was the real you, Lainey." I was angry, Cashin. I was reacting to the thought of divorce. "I swear I'm a different person now. I value what you built." "You value what I built because it is now successful and financially immense. Your character has not changed. Only the size of my portfolio has. The answer is no. You are not moving in. The divorce is final." I rejected her firmly. She escalated legally immediately. Her lawyer sent letters trying to reopen the asset claims. She claimed duress. All shut down logically by my lawyer. The signed paperwork and the clear documentation of my separate wealth made her attempts fruitless. X launched a social media campaign. It backfired. Mutual friends called her out. Even allies turned against her. 1 year later, I was thriving fully. My career was at an all-time high. I had purchased a second investment condo in Dubai. My salary was higher due to a contract renegotiation. I was in a stable, respectful relationship with Margaret, a brilliant international tax lawyer. Our relationship was based on shared ambition and mutual respect. I received one final, short message from Lainey. It was a direct message on an older platform. I made a huge mistake, Cashin. I truly regret treating you like I did. I am sorry. My reply was polite but short. It was the only thing required for closure. I accept your apology, Liney. I wish you well. Final update. I was back in the United States for a high-level briefing in New York. My global profile was massive. I received an unexpected text from Liney's father, Mr. Vernon. He asked if I could meet him and Liney's mother, Mrs. Vernon, for a quick conversation. I agreed to meet them at a quiet private club. I respected them. They were already seated when I arrived. They looked visibly older and ashamed. They were immediately apologetic. Cashin, we wanted to see you. We needed to say this in person. We are profoundly sorry. We should have supported your ambition, Mr. Vernon said, his voice quiet and firm. You don't have to apologize for Liney, sir. I've moved on. I'm happy now, I replied. It's not just for her, it's for us, Mrs. Vernon interrupted softly. We raised her to believe that money was the only measure of respect and that she was entitled to control yours. We taught her to dismiss anything that wasn't immediately visible and luxurious. We encouraged her belief that financial control was love. You built something purposeful, Cashin, and she threw it away because she was too shallow to respect your boundaries and your intellect. Mr. Vernon nodded slowly. She lost everything because of her arrogance and her attempt at extortion. She's learned the hard way that a partner who values your integrity is more important than a crowd that cheers your spending. We just wanted you to know that we finally understand. You are an exceptional man. We are sorry we didn't treat you like one. Their apology was sincere and heavy with genuine regret. It was the final validation of my entire journey. It confirmed that the values I was ridiculed for, my quiet financial planning, my professional integrity, my logical decision-making, were the correct ones. I accepted their apology gracefully. I told them I held no bitterness. I wished them the best for Liney's future. I walked away from the meeting feeling a deep, quiet sense of peace. My life now is a testament to the core lesson of this entire experience. Never tolerate a partner who weaponizes divorce or attempts financial extortion. Liney's betrayal and mockery were rooted in her own greed and her desperate need to control my wealth. She wanted me to remain her comfortable, financially dependent resource. She tried to keep me compliant through ridicule and threats. I learned that the only way to overcome this kind of contempt is through decisive, quiet action. I did not waste my energy arguing. I did not try to convince her. I simply executed my plan. I built a life so grand, so professionally significant, that her realization of her error would be the ultimate consequence of my success. My tone remains rational and steady because I know the truth. I did not allow emotion to rule my decisions. I simply focused my energy on my own potential. I found a partner, Margaret, who shares my values and respects my drive. We are committed to a future of shared, meaningful purpose. My career is booming. I am happy. I am secure. I am fulfilled. I built this life. I earned this life.